to Beyond the Black Rims. I'm Mars Girl.
I'm Josh Knight the First.
And this is Season 6, Episode 18.
Or Episode 136 if you're counting.
So, what's going on, everybody? Thank you, as always, to the Patreon contributors over at
Yes.
patreon.com/MarsGirl who make this show and all kinds of other things I do possible. So, thank you so much. Some of you might have seen last week or so, I released the Haibane Renmei review. This week, I hope to be done with that Atelier series that's on
Yes.
Netflix. In Japan, it's called Underwear. 13 episode TV series about a girl who joins a company that makes nice lingerie, which sounds like a comedy, but although comedic things sometimes happen, it's not a comedy. But
It's pretty good as far as Japanese dramas go.
Yeah.
I usually like watching them for people I know. Going into it, the main cast I didn't rightly recognize, but there's a few people in there I'm like, oh, I knew you, you're Kamen Rider Zanki, and you're Kamen Rider New Den-O, and you're the dude who runs the shop in Wizard, like, you know, the background characters, and I'm like, okay, I feel a little better. That might be very nerdy of me in that respect, but sometimes it's nice to have that little anchor.
yeah,
to
I
things.
can understand that. I feel like, too, once I get to the review, I'd be remiss to mention their existence, because I feel like a lot of my audience probably would not watch this show if not for the fact that there are these other actors that they've seen probably in other live action stuff, Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, that sort of thing.
Well, see, it's nice because they can start out on something like a kid's show, and then they go on to do nice regular dramas.
Yeah, I agree.
Shown in primetime, and then it's no big deal.
Yeah, exactly. So I think you guys are gonna get something of a treat out of that, and I'm really excited to be sharing that with you guys, because it's not something that I would normally review, but because it's a request review, and in fact it's a request review from our friend Stacy,
Yes.
whom you guys know, some of you may know at least. The last couple of weeks I've been playing Destiny with her on
You're going to
Fridays.
be doing that again tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow I'll be doing that again. It's going to be an hour earlier than what we've been doing it. We've been going live around noon, afternoon, thereabouts, but tomorrow it's going to be 11 a.m. Central. So, if any of you are interested in seeing me try and go through some more Destiny with another friend, that would be cool. I like having you guys around. It's always cool to have you guys around. But, you know, Destiny's not the only game we've been playing. We have gotten our own copies of another game that just came out this week.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No,
All right.
we have not gotten that game.
No, we have not gotten that game.
But we have gotten Overwatch.
Overwatch!
You picked it up for PS4.
Yes, I picked it up for PS4. You got it for PC.
Yeah, I was very kindly gifted with a copy for PCs, which I'm very, very happy about, so now I can play with a whole bunch of friends. I'm just sad I can't play with you.
Well, once we get my PC up and running to working status again, then I will be able to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm looking forward to that. But for now, I'm very much enjoying myself on the PS4. Both of us have our, I guess, mainliners that we're using. I'm using Reinhardt and Reaper most often, and I've gotten fairly proficient with them. I dabble with some of the other ones. You're still using Zadia, correct?
Frequently, yes. Earlier today I was trying to go through, go one match using one character that I haven't used before, and I didn't get very far. Had too much work to do here, actually,
Yeah.
but I'm slowly getting there, and I'm wanting to play with more people, but yeah, nobody else is playing Zarya, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay being the only person mainlining Zarya, pretty much.
That's fine.
And I enjoy her, quite frankly. Otherwise, you know, the game is, it's not, to me, the gameplay doesn't feel new, or fresh, or refreshing, or anything like that, and I guess that's okay. It is very bright and colorful and fun.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I
you know?
suppose that's true.
If it is at heart just Blizzard trying to do Team Fortress 2 with a different coat of paint, I'm enjoying that coat of paint. You know, I paid up front for that coat of paint. You saw me going in there, and I got the little. He's over on my computer right now. The little tiny Winston figure that came with it if you pre-ordered at GameStop.
Oh, and yeah, I've got, because you don't play World of Warcraft,
I gave you my, if you ordered the Origin Edition, you got these little extra bonuses. I don't know if you can see them there. You got little baby Winston for World of Warcraft.
Yeah, so you guys are going to see this upcoming Monday, my character's going to be running around with a little baby Winston following her absolutely everywhere she goes. Tiny little gorilla. following her everywhere. And there's other bonus items in. I play almost all the other games. Include StarCraft 2, for example, has character art or skins or something. Hearthstone has. There we go. It's StarCraft 2 has in-game portraits. Heroes of the Storm has a Tracer hero. Hearthstone, you get a card back. You get card backs that look like
the Overwatch symbols.
The Overwatch symbols and stuff. So that's pretty interesting. I play most of the games that bonus.
I feel better having gotten that and knowing it's not going to go to waste.
Yeah.
You're going to use most of that.
The thing is, the copy that I was gifted was also the Origins edition.
So like you've got an extra.
Maybe. I don't even know how to activate it because it was a digital copy and somebody just gave me the code and I don't know.
Well, either way, you've got the stuff.
Yeah.
Let's just pretend it came from me. Let's go with that.
I'm scared the other code just kind of disappeared. But,
you know what? Whatever.
Okay. Well, I can't be too picky because, it was a very kind gift and we got the stuff. And
I gave you a baby gorilla.
And you're not going to use the stuff.
No, I'm not because
okay.
I don't play WoW.
All right, that's okay.
That is okay.
That is perfectly fine.
Yes.
So I guess we can kind of talk about the mainline stories that we're going to
Yes.
be talking about a little later on.
So talk to us about our first story.
Yeah. So we're going to start kind of not so great, and then we're going
a little dark,
and then we're going to slowly move up to actually really good things. So I'm hoping we balance out the show that way. We're going to talk about a J-pop star who was fairly brutally attacked by a stalker fan, and about Japanese law and what they are or are not doing both in this scenario and other scenarios kind of like it.
Yes. Our second story, as some of you guys might have seen today, Mega Man is apparently getting a new cartoon. We're going to be talking to you guys about the look of it, the feel, what to expect, and then comparing it to all the other Mega Man things that have come before it.
Mm-hmm. And then finally, like I said, we're going to balance things out with happy stuff. There's a sick kid out there who really idolizes Kamen Rider Ghost, and, well, the actor who portrays Kamen Rider Ghost wanted to send his well wishes to the kid, even though typically he's not allowed to interact with fans over social media, and it was a really nice story, and we wanted to talk about it because it's very nice.
Yes, it's a great thing
Human
to talk
interest stories!
Yeah,
that's journalism.
That is journalism.
Kind of.
Yeah, we're kind of journalists.
Kind of, no, we're editorials.
Sure, why not?
Because journalism does not input opinion.
Yeah, but Beyond the Black editorials just didn't roll off the tongue as easy.
No, I guess you're right. Probably
Actually,
not.
before we get any further into it, some people might have seen on your stream, you actually got sponsored by something.
I was sent a little earlier in the week. This you can totally not see. Okay, there's the logo right there. This is a pair of glasses that came from this company called No Scope, and what No Scope provides are, again, these glasses. You can kind of see they're slightly yellow tinted. The idea is that it kind of blocks out some light blue light that typically your eyes don't rightly see right away. If you're sitting and staring at your computer for a really, really long period of time, or a TV or your cell phone or something like that, and then you've got like eye strain and headaches.
Admittedly, I've been getting a lot of that lately, what with the beta for Overwatch and now the actual game.
So, I was sent these, and I've been testing them out. I've been enjoying them so far. Things are a little yellow, admittedly, but they're comfortable. I like them, and they're cheap. That's pretty good, too.
Yeah, so I might actually be getting myself a pair because I'm starting to run into that problem.
There's several different kinds if you're like into that sort of thing. But I like them. I think they're fun. And then when I put my blue headphones on too,
they kind of match.
I'm all kinds of blue today. Like if I were to go and do, like,
okay.
Look how blue I am today.
Dabba dee dabba die.
I hate that song. So, actually, if you're here live with us right now, and actually I'm probably going to include the link to when we save this show for later. There is a link if you're at all interested in these. I think they're kind of nice, actually. There is a link where you can get them for yourself if you think that they're cool or you're interested in learning more about them. There's a link in the description below, so you can check them out from noscopeglasses.com specifically. So, yeah, I like them. I don't think I would do an entire talk show in them. Is that really the same thing as oh man, I did 5 hours of The Witcher the other day,
with
though.
Those?
Yeah, and I did them with these, and it was pretty nice, but this isn't like 5 hours of sitting in front. Oh my god, Witcher's getting so irritating. I'm on the final boss.
Okay.
I'm on the final boss, and I can't beat the final boss.
You'll get there.
It's absolutely ridiculous. So, yay.
Yay.
Yay. I'm putting this away now.
Okay.
Okay. But you've got follow-ups and junk, right?
I always got follow-ups.
Do you?
Yes.
Really?
And I got you another present this week.
What?
No, not quite Justice League stories.
Yes! Thank you.
You're happy now.
I am
yes?
happy.
Okay.
Yes. Tell me.
Psych! We totally. No, I just want to mess with you.
No, why are you doing this?
All right. So, but we do start usually with our DC news. So first and foremost, I want to talk to you guys about this past week with the Flash season finale. We've got a picture. I'm not going to fully explain it for those of you that haven't seen it, but just to show you the picture for the sake of interest, we have our picture here of John Wesley Shipp as Jay Garrick, the original Flash. I called that from friggin' day one when he was cast on the show.
I hope you're proud, Josh.
Oh, I am damn proud. That's what I am. Which came as a shock to many people. Some people were theorizing this for the past couple of weeks with things going on in the show. But if you want to see why John Wesley Shipp is Jay Garrick, you're going to have to catch up on that season finale, which you can, of course, watch now on the CW's app. It's available for free now. But yes, very happy to see that. Those of you who have watched this week see that they've got some very hard stuff for Barry coming up due to a decision he made at the last second in this last episode. So season 3 is going to be even crazier than this season. Okay, so moving on to some other news. DC, of course, DC Comics is relaunched with their DC Rebirth line out now. It's looking fairly positive, all things considered. A lot of people taking that very well, so I wanted to mention that.
Mm-hmm.
But I use that to counterpoint, swing on over to the Marvel side of things. So Marvel's doing a thing right now that I'm sure many of you are aware. Just getting right at it. Captain America is a member of Hydra.
So they say.
So they say.
So they say.
Chris Evans, of course, notably has gotten on Twitter. There was a picture of him reading the comic, not looking very satisfied, and then tweeting out later, Hydra! Hashtag say it ain't so.
I have to admit, yeah, that's really shocking, and it's kind of upsetting, and it's immediately fans are like, well, Marvel's just completely run out of ideas now if this is how they're going to treat the character, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, maybe, if he really is Hydra, no, I really kind of don't like it, but at the same time, it's an event. I get this feeling that they're going to turn it around and it's going to be like, haha, I was secretly not Hydra the whole time.
Kind of like...
or it's going to be like he was brainwashed, or he changes his mind real radically and completely 180. It's like, it's not going to stay like this, and if it does stay like this, just ignore the event. Pretend that this event... Because in comics, you have the freedom to pick and choose.
Yeah.
Because they keep rebooting things all the friggin' time because nothing is permanent.
Admittedly, yeah, but the way I have to look at it is like in any Kamen Rider movie, like All Writers Let's Go Kamen Rider, where 1 and 2 were members of Shocker, and then at just the right point, it's like, haha, we weren't brainwashed. We've just been faking it for all these years.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I want to be like, okay, cool, you're on the side of good. Not quite again because you were there the whole time, but like, does that mean you did a bunch of horrible things just to cover up for it?
Yeah, I understand that. But
that kind of sullies the name a little bit.
Like, realize, they're doing, 6 issues of this comic?
That I actually don't know.
Either way, this is only issue 1. Like, come on, they gave that information out in issue 1. Like,
but admittedly, fan
backlash
backlash has been very large, so if they're not going to resolve this within a certain amount of time, you can certainly expect that they're going to move this up very quickly for Cap to go back to the status quo. Okay, so moving on to some other Marvel news. We got big news out of the movie universe. So Thor Ragnarok this past week, the movie has upped its casting significantly, and we have a few names to confirm and some to announce. So Kate Blanchett is in fact the villain of the movie, but she is Hera, or Hela, I should say. Stupid LR thing. Who a lot of people are kind of wondering, she was supposed to be the, or we're hoping, myself included, that she would be the Enchantress. But it's like, oh, okay, I guess that's close enough. You'll kind of fudge that. Jeff Goldblum, of all people, is going to play the Grandmaster.
Is he going to talk in stereotypical Jeff Goldblum speak?
He kind of has the opportunity now.
Really?
He's playing an eccentric.
Okay.
So, yeah, go with it. Tessa Thompson, who was in Selma and Creed, will play Valkyrie. A lot of people very happy to see that.
I am familiar with Valkyrie, okay.
And then Carl Urban, who
like
we all know
Carl
as Judge Dredd from the new Star Trek movies, will play...
And Black Hat from Priest.
Why you gotta go bring that up? Why do you gotta do that?
His name is Black Hat.
His name is Black Hat. But in this, his name is Scourge, the Executioner, and people very happy to see that. And the definite announcement that Mark Ruffalo will in fact be joining the cast as Bruce Banner and the Hulk.
But you're telling me that nobody is Beta Ray Bill?
No.
Then what's the point, Josh?
Because
what is even the point?
I theorize this, because we don't know. They could be saving him for a Guardians movie.
Okay, you're right. That's possible.
Yeah, if
that's
anybody's
entirely possible.
look at it this way: if anybody's gonna do Beta Ray Bill right, I would say James Gunn would do it.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. I'm
Yeah.
not very good at this play the casting game sort of game.
Yeah, but still, that's
Not
very
very
positive news to see. Very happy to see that. Moving over to Spider-Man: Homecoming. So we reported to you guys a while back that apparently Michael Keaton was out of talks for the villain role in the movie. Apparently, he's right back in there. Like, he's so in there that they've almost 100% confirmed that he's the Vulture.
Well, I guess I would believe it. I think he can do it.
I think he should do it. Like, by all means. Like, one, when people heard you were even approached for the role, they were like, yes, go on, bring it. Yes, we absolutely want this. And then two, that sweet Marvel money.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want that?
Marvel/Disney money.
Marvel/Disney money. You know they got deep pockets.
Exactly.
So I'm very much hoping that we get absolute 100% confirmation. But right now they're sitting at like 85% confirmation, which is weird that you can do that, but that's pretty high.
Yeah,
you know?
I'd say it's pretty likely right about now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that. Then to round everything out, of course, the big movie that's out right now is, in fact, Captain America: Civil War. We can confirm that Civil War has passed the $1 billion mark.
Of course it was going to.
Of course it was going to.
Of course.
But you know who hasn't passed it? Not Quite Justice League.
So why didn't you have me use the Not Quite Justice League?
I wanted to put it in this section to stick it to him.
Oh, well, I mean, because I can still go in here, and I can still do that.
Okay, I'm just going to laugh at him. Alright, get out of here.
Okay.
Alright, moving over to Marvel TV. Alright, over on Luke Cage, they have confirmed that Carrie-Anne Moss will be reprising her role as Jerry Hogarth from Jessica Jones. She, of course, playing a big role in that and with Iron Fist. Also, we have some set pictures, not exactly on us right now because, you know, computer problem. Oh, wait, no, we do have that picture.
Yeah.
Yes, this is of Luke Cage fighting the enemy Diamondback, who, of course, is a member of the Serpent Society. They're, of course, modifying it for the television version, but, of course, another reason to look forward to Luke Cage coming out this November.
Yeah.
Alright, so, little movie news over in the anime portion. So, Ghost in the Shell's live-action movie has cast Rila Fukushima. A lot of people know her from The Wolverine, or more recently on Arrow.
Was she the Japanese love interest in The Wolverine?
More or less.
Okay. I didn't watch the movie, so...
I watched half the movie. Yeah, I was half because I was there over with my parents. But it was alright. But she's been added to the cast. Unfortunately, no word right now as to who she's playing, just that she has been added. Moving over to Ninja Turtles news. So, of course, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows will open in just a few weeks.
Which I'm somewhat interested in.
Yes.
They're very scary that I am, and yet I am.
Yes, well, Tyler Perry, who is playing Baxter Stockman in the movie, has gone on record for saying, don't rule out that in the next sequel, which will more than likely happen, that he will become the fly form of Baxter Stockman that everybody knows and recognizes.
I'm familiar with the
which
fly
is
form.
absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like you're doing justice here. If you go further into it and make Baxter Stockman a fly like I remember him growing up.
But is he going to be the head in a jar on a robot spider body at any point?
I don't know. They're saying
or in a giant
fly.
robot suit because that happens in some iterations.
That does happen in some iterations, but I think giant heads and robot suits is covered by Krang in this movie.
Yeah, that's
So
probably,
they don't wanna
it's
cop-
probably too similar. Yeah,
Yes.
you're probably right.
All right, so moving on to some other anime. I kind of put this in the wrong order. Anime news here for the Full Metal Alchemist live-action movie. So we reported to you guys that Ryosuke Yamada was going to be playing Edward Elric, and that only a few other cast members had been announced.
Mm-hmm.
So now a full cast has been announced, oddly enough without Alphonse. They still haven't cast Alphonse, but we can say they have cast General Hakuto, Maze Hughes, Riza Hawkeye, Maria Ross, Gracia Hughes, Sho Tucker, Dr. Marco, Envy, Gluttony, and Father Cornello. Father Cornello, of course, being the first enemy that the Elrics face in the anime. Which, oddly enough, that's Kenjiro Ishimaru, who's going to be Father Cornello. People will recognize him from Kamen Rider Den-O as,
Oh,
the
okay,
manager.
train dude, yes.
Yes. But when I thought about it, I was like, no, he's got the voice for it, the timbre of, oh, I am the head of this cult. And like, I was like, oh, that's perfect.
That's episode 1 right there, right?
Episode 1 and 2, yeah.
1 and 2.
Well, actually,
yeah.
it's the same for Brotherhood.
Oh, yeah.
That part is at least the same going over there. But very much looking forward to that. There's been a lot of, well, not a lot, enough of an outcry of people saying, oh, well, everybody's Japanese in this cast.
Oh, it's almost as if they cast them in Japan.
Yeah.
Like the casting for the movie, and the movie's being filmed in Japan by a Japanese studio about a story that was written by a Japanese person and published in Japan.
Go figure. So
So
weird. Okay, so moving on to some Power Rangers news here. So first thing we'll bring to you guys is that we have from today our first look at the logo for the next iteration over here of Power Rangers Ninja Steel.
I've got it somewhere. I totally was scrolling around and right there it is.
Yes,
There's-
Power Rangers Ninja Steel. That is the official logo. We can also see there that they've added the Ninja symbol as part of the logo. A lot of people saying, yeah, that's a nice touch. Appreciate it. Most of the time they just keep the...
You're right, though. I actually wasn't paying attention to that. Nobody can see my mouse. I'm totally circling it there with my mouse. I should totally download a pointer application for XSplit so I can go, ooh,
Or
look
you
at
can just,
this
like,
over-
this thing right here.
Oh, you mean I can be like a weatherman? Oh,
Yeah, because the green screen.
it's
Yeah,
a-
that's how we do that.
How does that work? I don't understand.
Yeah. All right, so moving on to some other, I guess we got to call it Power Rangers news. So two things. One, Lionsgate has come out saying today that the Power Rangers reboot movie could potentially spawn as many as 7
More
sequels,
yeah, making a total
of
possibly 8 of these movies.
8 of these things.
So what does that mean? Does that mean each one of them is going to be a not necessarily a different season, but a different Ranger team?
Like that's what I'm worried about, because when you say that, like, what do you mean? Like, are we going to do like the actual show and every couple of movies you reboot it with a different cast and different powers, or are we talking about like the Transformers?
They pass it on, and this continues, and it's a story. Harry Potter, but which had 8 movies.
Or are we talking like Transformers, where we just run this thing into the ground and it's make it stop after number 3?
Yeah.
Which we're worried about. And then the other thing to bring
I
up,
was okay to make it stop after number 1, personally, but
I can at least say I'm worried. But interesting things coming out of this reboot movies. We have these pictures here from the set of the movie that's filming right now. Here you can see the Red Ranger costume a little more close up in natural light.
So you can see, I'm interested because you can see that it's actually a fully formed suit and it's not entirely CG. Like, I thought it looked like it was going to look a little
but you remember
CG.
the argument I was bringing up the other week on the show when we were talking about this, where they need more white on the costume? When you take away the CG portions where they've added this glowing purple aura, it's white! And it looks good!
But that's the thing. I bet later they're gonna add CG on top
No, we
of
know
it,
based
and
off
it's
the
gonna-
other picture.
Yeah, and it's gonna look all purpley and glowy and
And I'm
stuff.
like, why would you do that? That's fine.
Yeah.
Even if it's got the little Triforce symbol that I know is just there for tracking purposes, that would have been fine. God.
It has 4 points.
You got it bass
Josh.
backwards. Why?
It's a diamond. It's not a Triforce.
No, if you actually zoom in, there's a Triforce on the chest.
But well,
That's
that tiny triangle in the middle of
Yes.
the diamond.
Yes.
Okay, whatever you say.
And the other picture that we have here is of the Red Ranger in suit fighting some villains in full green suits, which we imagine, of course, will be filled in with CG later. A lot of people coming to the probable outcome that these are the putties in the movie.
More than likely, if there's multiple of them, I imagine it's not gonna be, say, for example, Goldar, because I bet that would be in a bigger suit.
Right, exactly. If we had that, we'd at least see like portions of it, like we did for Ultron on set. But this, I'm imagining, is the putties.
Yeah, more than likely.
Okay. Moving on to some other Super Sentai news. So Shout Factory had their Die Ranger marathon this weekend, and they have, of course, announced, as many people were hoping, that they're going to be releasing Chouriki Sentai O Ranger this fall. So happy. I don't have the words.
I'm happy that they're continuing to. I think there must have been some sort of success with the release of all of these previous Sentai before it to prove to both Shout Factory and probably Toei, I guess, that
there's
oh my
a market
god,
here.
Westerners actually want to purchase this product. Thanks, guys. But we're finally getting it, and yeah, I'm very happy about it.
Yes. So this November, get your money ready. It's going to be coming. Get it.
We
Please
still need to pick
support
up
Stateside Toku.
We still need to pick up the last couple of Sentai that they released on DVD.
Die Ranger and now Kaku Ranger. And then the last thing we'll go ahead and bring up is from Tamashii Nations this past weekend over in Japan. We have this picture from the figure stand that they have there of upcoming figures they have. I just thought it was beautiful to show.
I don't think we have it.
Yeah, it was the last thing I get. You just passed it. That one.
Oh,
Yes.
we're not talking about Ghostbusters.
Yeah, we're skipping that.
Okay.
This picture here of Hongo Takeshi, Hiroshi Fujioka's own likeness in action figure form, and it looks beautiful.
It looks like him.
It absolutely looks like him circa 1971.
And we saw him in the
person,
flesh,
yeah.
so we should know.
Oh,
it looks like him.
Yes,
it looks
so
very good.
People get your wallets ready. It's going to be retailing for about $60 US later this fall. I want it so bad. My brother, though, he doesn't because he's a bigger Ichimonji fan. But I imagine if they're starting to release the original writers out of suit, then he's next.
Yeah, they'll probably keep going.
Yeah.
More than likely, they'll keep
What
going
I also
down the
hope
line.
for, honestly, is that if they do it for all the writers, both Showa and Heisei, have them back there. Of course, there are probably some licensing issues with the likeness, but I'm still hoping.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's going to round out our follow-ups. Let's go ahead and get right into our stories. First one, being a little dark, and I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, so, what are we looking at here? Where is all my information on this story? Because I totally have it. Mayu Tomita is the name of this particular J-pop performer. She used to be part of a bigger group. I don't
AKB48.
Was it AKB48? Okay.
Oh, no, wait. Hold on.
I'm pretty sure she used to be... Okay, it was
Actually,
AKB48.
No, there's somebody in AKB48 with the same name.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing people have been getting mixed up lately.
Yeah, but she is a pop star.
Yes.
Who very unfortunately was attacked by a stalker while she was on her way to a performance. So apparently, the series of events that happened
Goes something like this.
Yeah. So she had been receiving lots of messages from this particular individual, Tomohiro Iwazaki, who's 27 years old. He'd been cyber stalking her for quite some time.
For weeks.
And in fact, sent her a gift, apparently, of some variety. And so she is on her way to go to a performance that she was supposed to have later on in Tokyo. This was this past Saturday.
Yes, just a few days ago.
And he followed her there, I guess, or found her there, stopped her outside the train station.
Now, mind you, she had filed several complaints about him with the police, which went unanswered.
Right. So he approaches her, starts questioning her about the gift that he sent her. She was kind of being dodgy about the question, probably because she was freaked out and she didn't want
Understandably
to
so.
talk about it, and she sort of had a place to go and be at. And his response to that was him getting really frustrated that she was not answering these questions, and then he proceeded to stab her over 20 times. And thankfully,
22 to be exact.
And thankfully, she is in the hospital and she has not passed away. But the last I had heard, she was in critical condition. And it's just sort of insane because the answer he gave to the police just sounded sort of. I don't actually have the direct quote here in this particular news article that I'm looking at. But he was saying something about, oh, well, I got frustrated and I guess I lost my chill, basically.
I remember that. Down. I just lost my temper, more or less, is what he said.
And then,
as if that excused his action.
And kind of furthermore, what's so bizarre is that, they just held him for a little bit, and then they questioned him, and then they let him go, with plans to just arrest him again later on at some point. I don't think he's been arrested again yet, for attempted murder. And this is kind of ridiculous, and it has now apparently brought up questions about anti-stalking laws.
And of course, safety for performers in Japan. Mm-hmm. Because several other performers, since, idol culture is such a big thing over there, other performers have canceled these things they call handshaking events, where quite literally they just line up, if there's a group of them, and then fans line up for hours ahead of time, and just for the chance to briefly shake their hand and then walk away.
This may in fact not have been the first time we've talked about something like this. It was in fact at one of these handshake events where a member of AKB48
That's right.
got attacked by a dude with a saw or something.
Yeah, with a handsaw.
It was just ridiculous, and it kind of goes to show, I think fans, no matter where you are, there is a possibility that there's always that one bad apple, of course,
right,
that sort of spoils the barrel, and I think that's true anywhere in the world, but Japan sure seems to have it a lot, or perhaps it's publicized a lot. I'm really not sure. I don't want to blanket that, but I feel like the way that Japan goes about marketing, specifically its idols, because man, I would not want the lifestyle of an idol. And I think I think I've talked about this before in the past too, but I'll try and cover it really briefly. That the way they market them, the girls have no rest, no social life, no personal life, not allowed to have boyfriends, and they're supposed to look as innocent and openly available and dateable as humanly possible.
Right.
To market this idea that
they are not people, they are products.
Yeah, to market this idea that you could possibly date them. And so of course people fall for the ploy that these businesses generate with these poor girls, and then they start to think that they're falling for these girls and think that the girls, they're smiling back at them and that they actually care about them, but they don't, because they're a marketable product, and so people, they're tricked by it.
Yes.
So furthermore, to talk about the law, apparently there's not much in Japan's anti-stalking law to protect people on the internet. And that can be argued too, even in the United States, especially from state to state, just how well that's protected here too. I can say that I have been a victim of cyberstalking in the past, it is not a fun or comfortable thing. I do not appreciate it. So I feel like, I know John Oliver has talked about it before in the past. Japan, it's just kind of worse. There's a lot of things I feel like Japan's laws just have kind of not stepped up their game in when it comes to abuse, when it comes to stalking. If anybody saw that anime Erased, for example,
Yes.
It goes to show how...
Now, mind you, that's a different kind of abuse, but the stigma therein is actually a fact. Because we watched this and we were wondering, this brought questions to our mind. How do people handle abuse over in Japan? Is that actually a thing? And then, from looking up the research, it turns out there's a very low turnout for people actually reporting it. And if it's low report numbers, then even then, it's less for people actually doing something about it.
And then the people who do report it, it's not taken very seriously. And then I recall somebody actually was killed, and now they had to be like, oh crap, we should kind of do something about this, I guess. And then they started taking abuse seriously. So finally, I have to wonder, because now it's coming up in news stories, Japan law is coming under scrutiny because of this attack. Finally, like, enough attacks have happened. How many attacks to J-pop idols does it take before they finally go, maybe we should relook at the anti-stalking law?
Well, because what I think the horrible thing is, and I hate voicing this, but I honestly believe that's what the culture makes the people believe, like, oh, that one got stabbed. We can get another one. Because that's kind of what they seem like. They're replaceable, especially in those large groups.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, well, if one lost their spot, another one wants to take the place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's horrible.
Yeah.
That's a possible thing. And the thing about it is, you ask the question, how many of these attacks does it take for somebody to change the laws, change what actually gets done about it? The unfortunate thing is that Miss Tomita, she's still unconscious. Mm-hmm. From the last thing I read, it's not even just that she's in critical condition. She's still knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
She might not wake up. That's the unfortunate problem. They can up that from attempted manslaughter to manslaughter.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, what do you say? Especially in a case where there was evidence.
Yeah.
There was warning signs. The person in question went to the authorities and said, hey, this person is harassing me, can you please do something? And they said, well, we can't tell that he wrote these Twitter messages, we won't deal with it.
Well, they kind of tied it back, and then on top of that, apparently the current anti-stalking law doesn't ban sending messages repeatedly on social media if it's a public message. If it can be seen by other people.
Oh, great. So if it's
But
provable
if
in a court of law.
But,
Great, okay.
But if it's a private message to her, just between the two of them, and nobody else can see it, then that's cyber stalking and harassment.
So let me get this straight. I can talk all this mess to idols, but so long as I did it in a way that everybody could see that I did it, I can get away with it.
Yeah, it's kind of bass-ackward, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of terrible.
Yeah. So, I love Japan. I love Japan with all my heart. But there's just some things I can't get behind, I'm afraid. And this is, perhaps it's a cultural thing, because I've lived in America my entire life. But, except for that 1 3-month period. But, I'm sorry, Japan. You guys need to really step up your game here, because this is kind of unacceptable. And it should send a message, too, to the rest of the world, America included, because cyber stalking laws really need to be looked at everywhere.
Yes.
At least in my case, and the case of a number of my other coworkers and stuff, we have been in contact with police officers who seemed to be very open to helping us solve our problem. It only seemed to go so far, but at least it sounded like it was kind of going somewhere and they wanted more information. Here in this scenario, it doesn't look like Japan and their police really cared very much at all, and that is very unfortunate because it could have really saved her from this horrific event.
Yes. But hopefully she will make a full recovery, and hopefully
I
this
definitely
guy
hope so, yeah.
will end up with his ass in jail.
Yeah, absolutely. I hate to make, really mood whiplashy kind of news decisions.
Oh, I can do it.
But here we go. Let's change our news story up, shall we?
Yeah, let's roll over to our other story.
I don't
Mega Man.
I don't know that roll over was this.
Because roll and Mega. I'm trying here. I'm trying.
You're
here's our first look at our new Mega Man.
So yeah, there's going to be a Mega Man, another Mega Man animated series coming up in 2017. It's kind of not good looking.
It looks very Tron influenced, if you ask me.
Well, apparently some of the creators behind Ben 10 are working on this. I guess I can
see it in the eyes.
I can kind of see a Ben 10 influence, but I kind of don't like it. So there's more than just, looking at this really bizarre picture of Mega Man that looks almost nothing like Mega Man. This apparently is a collaboration between Dentsu Entertainment and DHX Media, and it will focus on Aki Light, a regular everyday kid who also happens to be a schoolboy robot.
So in case you didn't catch that, Mega Man, as pictured here, equals Aki Light.
Well, okay, Dr. Light is the guy who made Mega Man.
Right.
So I guess he's like, I'm going to make my own son. This is gonna be like
kind of.
It's gonna be like Astro Boy. He makes a kid.
Yeah.
And then the kid, he goes to school, and he also happens to be a robot. And then
Yeah.
I imagine then he later on becomes Mega Man. It says, besides living his normal, upbeat life, Aki has the ability to transform into Mega Man's iconic armor, complete with the Mega Buster arm cannon and helmet.
Familiar characters like Rush,
the dog, the robot
will be
dog.
part of the series as well.
And then there's some new character coming up called Mega Mini.
Which I imagine is the thing. If you're looking at his forehead there, you see him.
You can't really I'm not gonna be able to zoom it in.
Okay,
anymore.
so hold on. I'm right here where I'm pointing at. This little thing is actually a thing. It's a little dude.
I think it's a thing.
I'm pretty sure that's the thing. So here's the thing about not that thing, but this thing as a whole. Coming out next year, which is going to be Mega Man's 30th anniversary. One, I'm not impressed.
Mm-hmm.
I am not impressed in the slightest with this. Two, what with all the things having been delayed with Mighty Number 9, and three.
He looks closer to Mighty Number 9. Actually, it's a little
yeah.
scary.
And then three, with all the crap that Mega Man fans have had to put up with over the years with cancellations and bad games, haven't we done enough to Mega Man? I mean, really?
Hasn't he been through enough? Please.
He's suffering.
I would almost rather rewatch the old cartoons. Super Fighting Robot.
Because that was awesome.
Well, the opening had amazing animation.
Okay, the opening.
And
yeah.
then suddenly it's completely and utterly different crappy animation when you get, just like every single other 80s to early 90s series. Cartoon series. But even so, it was just way more accurate in even the goofiest of ways. And then we had things like Mega Man and T-Warrior, which, I mean, they had games and stuff, so, it was accurate to the games, I guess. But, is this cartoon going to get its own video game spin-off? Because would that mean they're actually going to make a Mega Man game?
See, I don't know, because...
And will it be a good Mega Man game?
See, that...
I feel so bad for Mega Man fans because they keep having this happen to them.
Yeah, because the thing about it is, what did Mega Man fans do to deserve all this? That's really what I'm trying to get at. Because, people wanted to flock to Mega Man. People want to give their money to Mega Man. People want to support Mega Man. But then... you give us the bad games, you give us the canceled games, or you don't give us the canceled games.
Yeah.
You gave us Mighty Number 9, and we were so hopeful, and now I don't know anybody who's got any hope in it anymore.
Uh-huh.
And now we've got this, this 26-episode series, and I'm already really? Alright, whatever. At this point, I imagine most Mega Man fans are so disillusioned with whatever news comes out, it's this might as well happen to us too. Come on, let's go.
So
let's deal with it.
There is a quote from Duncan Rouleau of Man of Action.
See, I'm familiar with Man of Action. Man of Action has done several cartoon series.
Mm-hmm. So his quote is, "The best thing about Mega Man is his unflinching, wide-eyed optimism and an over-the-top sense of humor." And I'm sitting here wondering, where is that? Because I suppose, he's had comics. Okay, that's fair.
That's true.
He's had comics. He had a TV series in the past.
Yeah.
An animated series just of Mega Man flat. I'm not talking... we're not talking about Mega Man X. We're not talking about NT Warrior. Just Mega Man.
We're not talking about Mega Man Star Force.
I guess you could say that sometimes he has wide-eyed optimism. Maybe. But if we're talking about, games 1 through 9, he doesn't speak. He just exists.
He's our silent protagonist right up there with Link.
Yeah.
You're trying to attribute all of these qualities to him and saying, yeah, they were there the whole time, right? You remember, huh? Kid, buy this. And I'm over here dude, I'm 30. What are you trying to sell me that I believe you've only done so much homework on? How long have you been looking up Mega Man? For the last 48 hours! Have you slept? No! I imagine that's how they're coming at this. Because I don't know... So if you're going to sell Mega Man to any sort of audience, new or old, start with what we know. just draw him the way we know he
Run
looks
him
like.
Run
and gun.
And then, so he continues on to say, this show reflects both qualities. I guess he means
Wide-eyed
wide
optimism.
optimism and an over-the-top sense of humor. We've got it all in there. It's hopeful, forward-leaning, action-packed. It's full-on fun ahead. And I'm like, yeah, I guess you could call Mega Man's, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know if it's this peppy, alright, I'm gonna go to school kind of fun, wide-eyed up, like, yeah, I'm gonna save the day, and I'm gonna pass the test at school.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now,
about
just
this.
to pair it up against other stuff that Man of Action's done, they did do Ben 10. They also do Ultimate Spider-Man and Marvel Avengers Assemble over on Disney XD right now. So if I'm to go off that sort of look, storytelling, what have you, I don't know if I want it. Because don't get me wrong, for what it is, I enjoy parts and aspects of those shows, but they're not my shows.
Yeah.
You know, I can at least say they could be a lot worse, but in certain aspects they could be a lot better. They're very childish. And the thing about it is, I guess, yeah, if you're trying to sell Mega Man to a younger audience, then yeah, you want
Which
to
is
sell
what they're doing,
humor and wide-eyed optimism.
Because they're saying they're trying to sell it to kids ages 6 to 9, but hoping that video game loving parents will tune in as well.
No, because those video game loving parents would have taught those kids well. Like, you're banking on the kids.
Some of them are banging. Those pictures.
Some of those parents.
Those pictures of Roll, man. Like they go to DeviantArt.
Wow.
Some of them.
Wow. But I'm still gonna continue the thought. So, these people are banking, kind of like what we said about the Power Rangers movie, that you're targeting an audience that hopefully doesn't.
Splash Woman.
Dear God. Point being, they're targeting an audience that hopefully doesn't know any better. That's the thing. If you can pull the wool over their eyes and say, yeah, this is totally new and awesome, and this is the way it's always been, take it. And if they buy it, then you can get away with it. But once you hold it up against the original, people will be like, hey, wait a minute. That doesn't quite add up. And then stuff gets canceled. And then it's just another failed Mega Man project. Which is honestly where I see it going.
That's very sad and disappointing, but I guess I can't say that you're wrong. I don't know what else I can say about this because it's Mega Man and it's, post the X franchise, and it's going to be very sad.
These are dark times.
Yeah, these are dark times.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave this so that we can talk about something slightly less dark.
Oh, in fact, very positive.
Yeah. In comparison, very, very positive. Where the heck is my picture? Okay, we'll get that away. And then we got the kid. That's the picture of the kid
Yes.
right there. So there's a small child, and he's
So,
a very happy-looking small child.
Let's set this up for you guys. I want you to introduce you guys right here to Hidetora Yano. This kid is only 3 years old. He needs blood transfusions because he's got a disease. And this is very hard for a 3-year-old who constantly is always having to have blood drawn. He's been
hospitalized like 50 times already, something like that.
Yes. And the thing about it is it's very hard to get through those procedures, especially for a kid of that age and that size. Well, the thing about it is, with many kids of that age, he likes watching TV. He likes the heroes that he sees on TV. In specific, as you can kind of see there, those of you in the audience who recognize that weapon and that jacket he's got there, he likes Kamen Rider Ghost. And the important thing to bring up about that is that this season of Kamen Rider Ghost focuses on the main character, Takeru Tenkuji, who, having lost his life and got it back, realizes the value of his life and the value of every life. And he fights to make sure that his life burns bright in order to help other lives burn bright. This kid, at 3 years old, is able to recognize that message, internalize it, and now, whenever he goes to get his transfusions, he says the catchphrase out loud, and he wears the little belt and the weapon, and he says that gives him the strength, that hero gave him the strength to go through with these operations that he needs, these procedures. And that is, to me, that's beautiful, to see that. And as such, news got around of this kid's case, and Shun Nishime, who plays Kamen Rider Ghost there on the show, there's a picture of him right here, reached out to him. Now, normally he can't do that because of certain things with his talent agency, with
his
the show.
contract. He's typically, and I think this is true of a lot of Japanese famous personalities. Most of the time their contracts say that they are not allowed to directly interact over social media individually with fans.
Right.
That's against their contract. So if you ever wonder why it is somebody looks like they're shunting you, they're not doing it, maybe not because they want to, but because they're not allowed to.
Yeah. But in this case, Shun Nishime reached out to him when he found out about it. He said, and I quote, "It really hit me that Ghost, the character I play, can give hopes and dreams to children. I shed tears of joy when I heard this." You know, so this really moved him as an actor to hear that this was happening. He said, "I feel really great about doing my best to be Kamen Rider all this time." And he tweeted at him, I think your battle with this disease is painful, but I will do my best and work hard on TV to make it less painful for you." And this, of course, is amazing. You know, he's reaching out directly to this kid, helping give him hope in this circumstance. And really, it's not like over here in the States we don't have things like that, where we have our actors who play heroes do things to give kids hope.
Right.
But I wanted to reflect for a second that, you know, most people look at things like Tokusatsu and say, oh, that's Japanese Power Rangers, oh, that's some guy in a bug costume, that's nothing, it doesn't mean anything, it's selling toys, whatever, that's child's play. Understand what it actually ends up being in the long run. This is a kid who very easily could give in to the pain of the situation, could very easily not be there the next day because of how serious this disease is. You know, they say here in the article he needs a bone marrow transplant. And, you know, he's got his mom there who's only 36 years old. She's not that much older than us.
Yeah.
You know, and it could be very easy to see that this story was just tragic, but it's not, in the sense that this kid is able to recognize that that guy on the TV in the black and orange coat, he's a hero and he's not giving up his life. I shouldn't either. And the thing about it is, it's not just, oh, I'm a fan now. No, that's something that's a life lesson that the kid will take into his adolescence, into his adulthood, and he will remember that for the rest of his life. I'm
questioning whether or not this is a thing and just how good or bad this is. Is it a PR stunt that he got, you know, this... Do you think, one, that was him seeking permission from his managers to do this? Do you think it was his managers who said, you need to do this because it'll look good? And then, ultimately, do you think that even matters in the end?
No, I don't think it matters. Now, according to the article, Shun Nishime's talent agency forbid him from sending messages to individual fans, like it said.
Right, so he had to have gotten permission to do this.
But he reached out to him on his personal Twitter. Now, the thing is, with some of these actors, they have different accounts.
It was his mom, the kid's mom's Twitter, who had been tweeting relatively privately up until that moment because she didn't want her friends to worry about how bad it actually was.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's how he found out, was through the kid's mom over Twitter.
Right.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, now that it's out there, I know if I was in Nishime's place right now, I absolutely would have done it. You know, screw what, you know, my talent agency says. If I know I'm portraying a hero and this is the exact opportunity to be that hero, then I absolutely would jump at the chance.
So let's say that he actually did not get permission from his agency and he just did it. You think his agency is probably going to be like, okay, slap on the wrist, don't do it again because this was actually a really good thing for us?
If they want to do that, you know, that's their prerogative, but at the same time, when we look at the history of similar events like this happening, the biggest, of course, being back when the tsunami hit a couple of years ago, a lot of former Kamen Rider and Super Sentai actors, really it was the Super Sentai actors who were known for it, got on Twitter and gave people encouraging messages saying, hey, I know things are really tough right now, some people lost businesses and jobs and families, but we can pull together and we can do this as a nation.
Were they current Super Sentai and Tokusatsu members, or were they older?
They were older.
Because if they were older, then they're no longer under those contracts with those agencies, more than likely. So they're perfectly allowed and free to do that whenever the hell they want.
Yeah, but the thing about it was, it's not whether or not they were allowed to, it's the fact that those messages reached people, and it actually did muster up all this goodwill and energy for people to push through. That's mainly the reason why there were so many retired Sentai actors to show up in Gokaiger because they saw that people were responding to it on the internet. Like, man, they're getting a lot of play on Twitter. People still remember them?
Mm-hmm.
People still believe in them? Man, maybe we should have them back on the show. And the show was better for it because it brought back all of these former heroes that were trying to be heroes in real life.
So I feel like this doesn't happen as much in America, but that's not to say that it doesn't happen, going and visiting kids in hospitals in costume sometimes and stuff from
Right.
Hollywood actors who have been here.
Chris Pratt is a good example of that.
How do you compare these two things? Do you feel like the actors here are doing... is there a difference in the reason why they do it? And is there a difference in the reverence that people have?
I want to
for
say
them?
there's a difference in reverence as far as the Japanese audience goes.
Mm.
Because over here, it seems like it gets played off more often than not. You know, when the media covers it, like, oh, look, they did a thing, isn't that great? But in Japan, there's a kind of a weird reverence that comes with it that we don't necessarily have over here. And I think, really, for as much as it's played up, because, you know, this story came out of Japan, and their news is catching on to it, like, wow, this is really great, good on you, Shun.
Yeah.
Good on you for doing that. Whereas over here, it kind of gets swept under the rug. Like, you know, people there in the chat are talking about it. Case in point, you know, he's not exactly a superhero, but it's classified in there. Friggin' John Cena doing as many Make-A-Wish
Well,
visits
he's
as
such a
done.
nice guy that he portrays in wrestling. So yeah, I understand the.
From what I understand, that's also him as a person.
Yeah.
You know, showing like, no, that's him. He really cares about that. That's why he does as many as he does, more than any other person ever in the organization. And really, like, that is to be commended. You can say whatever you want about his persona in the ring, his record, his injuries, whatever. Say whatever the hell you want about that, but you can't say crap about him not wanting to do that. Because that, to me, is heroism.
I get
more
that,
than
yeah.
beating down CM Punk or The Undertaker. No, like, that's it right there. When you're, you know, the kid is the next generation hero.
Yeah.
That kid eventually goes on and internalizes that, whether you're being visited by John Cena, whether or not you're being tweeted at by Takeru Tenkuji, that means something, and hopefully that instills this idea in you that when I grow up to be, you know, their age or of a certain level of influence, hopefully I can be that to somebody else. That's the lesson that I think is the beautiful part in it, and I really wish that people would take notice of it and emulate that.
Yeah.
I think it's important that that information gets put out there.
I agree.
Which is why, you know, we're covering the story, because it's not often, you know, more often on the show we'll talk about, oh, Ghost's new power-up, you know, Grateful Dawn Machine next month. Yeah, but it's nice to talk about the human side of it and what actually can happen through Tokusatsu. You know, it's a great story, and I wish there were more like it to cover.
Yeah, for that reason, it's just like you say. I think Tokusatsu is something that, especially American fans, they look at it so much like, oh, isn't this cool? It's people in these suits, and it's so fun, and it's so funny, and it's like there's so much more to be found in it, especially culturally speaking, and I guess that's why we stick around with it as much as we do.
Yeah,
I think that
because
makes sense.
it goes further than just the explosions and the cool suits.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess that's where we also are going to wrap it up for
Yes.
the time being. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us yet again for another episode of the show. If you're here with us live, thank you. I hope you guys will stick around for the next half hour so that we can do Q&A time with you guys. It's always fun to do that. And if you're not here with us live right now, that's okay. But I'd really like it if you guys could get down here
Yeah, come on.
Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Central here at youtube.com/MarsGirl/live, and you can hang out with all these other cool people and then do this 30-minute Q&A with us. And I like talking to you guys because you guys are
Yeah.
always fun to talk to.
Yes. And of course, you can always talk to us during the week over on social media. On Twitter, I am at Josh Knight First.
And I'm at MarsGirl.
That having been said, that's been tonight's episode of Beyond the Black Rims. We will see you guys again next week.
Good night, everyone. Hey.